Hello everybody and welcome to week 14. We're getting close to the end of this thing as far as how many school days are left in the semester. For most of you, the semester ends on January 10th. That's a Friday. So if you think about that, we've got this week and this week will start Wednesday, December 11th, like we usually start a week on a Wednesday. I'm going to carry out the end of this week till Friday, December 20th. So just because that's when most people are starting their Christmas break is after that Friday. So this week won't end on a Tuesday like it normally does. It'll actually have a few extra days and run into Friday. So you want to make sure you get all your stuff turned in for this week before you go on to Christmas break there. And then as far as there are different days people are coming back, but for the most part we end January 10th, so that leaves basically about a week after Christmas break of school days to get anything in. Really that last week is going to be kind of you taking a survey and wrapping some things up. So for most purposes, really this marks the last week of any new content for you for the most part. Okay, since I don't think it's a week where I've put in too much work. I'm still trying to allow people to kind of get caught up a bit, but bearing in mind that there's a couple extra days built into this week, I do have another TED Talk for you to watch about creativity again, so it'll be the last one you get a chance to take a look at and write a reflection on. We're looking at another looping structure in here. 4 next loops are a pretty important type of looping structure, and one that you'll find this type of looping structure in many different coding languages. For example, you go into Java, you're going to see tons of 4 next loops, so you kind of have to get the hang of how 4 next loops work. For some people, it's a little bit of a confusing concept at first, but I think if you take a look at the examples in here in the videos this week and pay close attention, you'll be able to do that. Also, some information about string class properties. When we set a string variable, it's actually its own class. So that enables us to access properties of the parts, the data that's being held in the string variable. We can access the properties of that, and we can invoke methods on the information that's held in a string variable. So string variables a little bit different than other variables in some senses here, and there's a lot of things we can do with it. So you'll be taking a look at some information there. It's kind of just an introduction to some string class properties and methods. String concatenation is just a place where we can concatenation, just putting 2 different things together. Some of you have been asking me about this a little bit here and there along the way, like how you could put a variable into a message box with some text and stuff like that. And so I've showed some of you those things as you've asked, but this is kind of a more formal area that explains all that. And so there is one program to build this week. It's called Letter Counter, because 4 next loops and all the string class properties and methods really do get into the whole idea of search and the ability to search for things. I mean, ever since, even before there was the internet, search on computers was a very important concept. So you're going to be using what you learn in here to do some search. So Letter Counter is just a program where basically the user input box pops up and asks the user to put in a word or phrase. Another input box pops up after they dismiss that one and just asks the user to put in a character that they want to search for. Then what should happen is the word or phrase is put in one label on the form, the letter they were searching for is put into another label on the form, and then lastly your program searches through that first word or phrase for the character that they said to search for and tells the user how many times that they found that character in the word or phrase. So we're doing a little bit of search here and results of a search. Okay. Just one thing to be aware of is your program by default is not going to treat upper and lowercase letters as the same thing. So you'll learn about some string methods that you can use to to compensate for that. Okay, and you have to have all your menu items in there in a creative idea, and it's being judged with the program rubric, so it's worth 20 points. Okay, so that's the only program that you have to do this week. By December 20th, there's also a journal entry due. And then for those of you that are have been running ahead the whole time, and what I'm giving you isn't that much. There is an extra credit program to build in here, so it's optional. You don't have to do it. It's extra credit. If you get your letter counter working though and you have extra time, you're welcome to do that. I'll let you read about what you're doing in there on your own. I'm not going to take everybody's time on that. If you are not caught up on past things, don't waste your time on the extra credit thing, because you got to get all your past things turned in first. So this is just optional. It's just for people that are running ahead and having extra time. I thought it was maybe a time to maybe reward them a bit if they had extra time and were getting all the things we've been doing. So there's a number of things this week, but there is extra time. It's due December 20th, so work on that, get that stuff done. One thing to note for last week is that your slot machine 2.0 version was due. If you didn't have slot machine 1.0 done, obviously you couldn't get feedback on how to change it for 2.0. So if you're running behind on those things, take care of them as quickly as you can. For those of you maybe running behind, we are, that January 10th date is definitely a drop dead date for everything. You can't turn in anything after that, so you want to make sure you take care of stuff by then. You might be wanting to do some stuff over Christmas break at home if that's a possibility for you. One last item I just want you to know is that for those of you taking this class through the Missouri River Area Career and Technical Center, and you're registering for next semester to take the next version of this class, the second version of this class, it is offered for dual credit. If you're interested in getting information about how to sign up for dual credit, let me know and I'll send that to you. That is not an option for anybody that's moving on and taking this to the Grand Forks Area Technical Center, just to those of you in the Missouri River Area Technical Center. So let me know if you need information on how to sign up for dual credit through Bismarck State College. Have a good week and have a good Christmas break if I don't talk to you before then.